going to show you how to make a loaf of sourdough. I'm going to walk you through it step by step, and I'm going to talk you through my thought process the whole time so you can kind of see what I'm looking for and what I'm thinking. You only need 4 things: salt, starter, water. I've got my flour over there. I've got my scale because I measure everything in grams. I know some people like cups, but they're not as accurate. Sorry. You need a bowl. It doesn't matter what the bowl is made out of. This is a stainless steel bowl. You can use a ceramic bowl. You can use a plastic bowl. It doesn't matter. I am going to be making 2 loaves of sourdough. One is going to be a normal loaf. One is going to be a white chocolate toffee inclusion loaf, but I'm going to mix them all at the same time, and then I will split them later. So my recipe is 350 grams of water, 150 grams of starter, 10 grams of salt, 500 grams of flour. So we're going to start with the water. 350 grams of loaf. I'm making 2 loaves, so I need 700 grams of water. This is filtered water. I live in Texas, and the water where I live is not great. It's got a lot of chlorine and stuff in it. So we have like RO water, and we just refill this jug with that. If you have really good water that comes out of your faucet, you can probably just use that. We don't even drink the tap water here because it doesn't taste good. So 700 grams of water in my bowl. We're 12 grams over, doesn't matter. I'm now gonna do my 150 grams of starter, 2 loaves, so 300 grams of starter. Some people only do 100 grams, that is also completely fine. The less starter you put, the longer it's gonna take for your bread to proof. The more starter you put, the faster it's gonna proof because you have more yeast in there. I am lazy and I want my bread to go fast, and that's just what the first recipe I ever tried used was 150 grams of starter, so that's what I do. 300 grams of starter in the bowl. That was too much. I don't like dishes, so I'm just using my hands. It's fine. I should have grabbed a paper towel. Hold. We have our water. We have our starter. We are now going to add our flour. Got my big chungus bucket. We're going to put 1,000 grams of flour in this bowl because, again, 2 loaves, 500 grams each. That's 1,000 grams of flour. Zero out our scale. I just spilled that on the floor. I don't know if I said this. We're doing this in my living room because the light in my kitchen is atrocious and I want you to be able to actually see what I'm doing. Doo-doo-doo. Yes. Love it when I get it perfect. Now we need salt. 10 grams of salt per loaf, 2 loaves, 20 grams of salt. This is sea salt from Sam's Club. I also use Himalayan pink salt sometimes. The general consensus is just non-iodized salt, but I've also cooked it with iodized salt before and I don't feel like it hurt anything. So use whatever salt you have. Beautiful. 21 grams, good enough. That is all of the ingredients I need to make this loaf of sourdough. I have my water, I have my flour, I have my salt, I have my starter. I am now going to mix this all together using the tool that I think is the best tool on the planet. My hands. I hate dough whisks. I think they're a pain to clean. Sometimes I use another type of spoon to kind of mix it initially, but also sometimes it's just fun to stick your hands in a bowl of dough. It's like making slime, but you get good bread at the end. I just feel like your dough, I just feel like your hand works a little bit better. You can squish, you can stir, you can all kinds of what. Now, I know some people say, mix it to a shaggy dough, right? Which to me, that is a shaggy dough, right? There's still flour that's not mixed in, but nothing's really super liquid anymore. That, not good enough. The thing to remember about sourdough is you need strong gluten structure and a strong starter to put off lots of bubbles to make a good loaf of bread. Gluten starts to build as soon as your flour is mixed with your water. So my gluten has just started to form. You'll notice right now, it's really sticking to me. I am going to keep mixing this until I feel like my dough is sticking more to itself than it is to me. And you'll see what I mean. When you first start mixing, everything's sticking to your hand, right? There is no structure yet. There is no gluten holding everything together because that's what gluten does. It holds everything in your bread together. It is the structure of your dough. So I am going to keep mixing this until it is sticking more to itself than it is to my hand. Now, it's always going to stick a little bit to my hand because it is dough. As you can kind of see, there's still dough on me, but it's not sticking to me so much as it's sticking to itself now. I kind of do this process where I stick my hand in, kind of fold it on top of itself, and that's what I do. And I just keep doing that. See how it's already kind of starting to hold shape? That's what I'm looking for. It's not sticking to the bowl as much. It's not sticking to me as much. I'm good. So I'm gonna go wash my hands now. I'll be back. I also meant to say earlier, I'm going to make this entire loaf of bread without using any sourdough specific tools, right? So I wanna do it showing you that you can absolutely make sourdough with whatever you already have in your kitchen. So yeah, I hope this is helpful to you. Okay, it has been a little bit over an hour. We are going to do our first set of folds. I do a stretch and fold for the first one, and then everything after that I do a coil fold. So the point of doing folds is to stretch your gluten strands that are developing and make them stronger. That's what holds all of the air bubbles that are put off by the yeast. This is what she looks like. So I am literally gonna go in and scoop up, pull, and then drop back down. The goal is to stretch as far as you can without ripping. You don't want to rip, you don't want to break, but you do want to give it a good stretch, okay? Now, some people say like, do 1 quarter turn, do 1 quarter turn, do 4, and then you're done. I don't do that. I keep stretching and folding until I start to feel resistance in my dough. I'm gonna go in, pull up, and then flop, okay? And I'm not really holding the dough tight, I'm just enough that I let it kind of fall on its own. Over, up, and over. Okay, see, it's got a lot of stretch right now. So right now we are getting really good stretching. I'm gonna keep going. You'll start to see the dough stretching less and less and less. See, that's already not pulling. There's tension here. It's not stretching as much as it was in the beginning. So that's what is gonna tell us we're getting close to it. We're gonna stop, okay? See, that's tight. I'm good, okay? I've built enough gluten at this point that I can now let it rest. I'm gonna let it rest for 30, 45 minutes and come back and do another set of folds. But all the folds going forward from here are going to be coil folds. They are a little bit gentler on the dough. You are less likely to rip your gluten strands that way. So ready to do our next set of folds. Coil fold, instead of pulling up and over like a stretch and fold, we're gonna pull up and then go tuck it under. Go in, pull up, and then it's still not even totally pulled away, but I'm gonna flop it over itself. Up, over, over. Okay, so you can kind of see as I'm tucking under, it's kind of already starting to create that dome shape, better than a stretch and fold does. So we're gonna go to the other side. In, up, over. And again, I just keep doing this until I start to feel tension and I start to feel like it has that good dome shape that I want. Over. You're literally coiling it up on itself. Okay. I'm gonna stop there. We're good. See how we've got a good dome shape there? I'm gonna give it another 30 minutes and it's gonna kind of flatten back out. I am going to keep doing these coil folds until it's holding more of this dome shape after like 30 minutes. So we'll come back in 30 minutes. I'll show you. Third set of folds, second set of coil folds. I want you to notice how much it's flattened out compared to just a second ago, okay? It still needs some structure, okay? It is not holding its shape in between those coil folds. Like, it is a little bit, but compared to the dome we had before, not the same. Go in, pull up, over. In, up, over. Until the dough is in the dome shape that we want. One thing to remember, how fast it rises and proofs is going to be determined mostly in part by how warm it is. So right now, it's pretty cold in my house, but I have it sitting in front of this window, which is getting direct sunlight because it's a south-facing window. So my dough is warm. So it's going pretty quick. You can usually feel in these coil folds when you're done. Again, the dough will not be as elastic and it will be holding its shape. So if the dough is still really loosey-goosey and really, really stretchy, it needs more gluten support. If you do not have enough gluten structure, your dough, when you bake it, won't be able to hold all of the gases that are put off by the yeast. So we'll cover it again. We'll come back in another 30 minutes. As you can see, it is definitely starting to hold more shape. This is also proofing very quickly because it is very warm right here. I still want more shape than this, so I am going to do another set of coil folds, just being gentle. Stretch. I can definitely feel it's really warm on the bottom. this is where we are. It's very fluffy. It is definitely not sticking to anything. That's probably my last coil fold. I'm gonna let this finish the rest of its proof. Now, it's probably not gonna take that much longer. I'm gonna come check on it every like 30 minutes or so, just because it's so warm and it's already so poofy. I don't wanna let it go for too much longer because then I'm gonna end up overproofing it. Okay, I'm back. It's been about an hour and a half or so, and I think my dough is ready to pre-shape. So let's look at it. See how it's still holding that shape? It hasn't fallen like completely flat. It's fallen a little bit because it's always gonna fall a little bit, but it's still holding that shape. You see lots of big bubbles? Do you see how jiggly it is? That's what I'm looking for. It looks like it's full of lots of air, holding its shape. That clues me into the fact that I probably have good yeast that's putting off a lot of bubbles, and I probably have good gluten development because it's holding its shape. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna split it. We're gonna pre-shape them. We'll let them sit for another 30 minutes, and then we will do our final shaping. We'll put them in our bannetons, and then we will put them in the fridge to cold proof overnight, and then we'll cook them in the morning. To stick our hands in, lift it up, beautiful, and set it down, nice and gently. Now gives you a really good idea of how much it's holding its shape, right? It is not in a bowl anymore, and you see how it's still got shape. It's not just spreading out flat on the table. I was gonna use this, but let's be realistic here. You can also just use a knife. So I'm just gonna cut it right down the middle. You can also use scissors. Scissors are very useful for cutting dough. They do a really good job. Now I'm going to pre-shape. The point of pre-shaping is I'm going to, 1, be continuing to build my gluten structure. 2, I'm going to start building surface tension on the top because that's what gives you a good rise later. I'm just gonna take my hands and I kind of turn it and pull. The goal is I'm trying to get everything on these edges tucked neatly underneath. It's kind of similar to our coil folds, where every time we were lifting up and going over, that's the point, is I just push, pull. And you can see the underneath of my dough is still a little sticky. Push, pull. And I'm just gonna keep doing this until I feel like I have a good, nice ball. You can see that gluten structure there. You see how after that, it's holding that shape. And you're gonna watch when I come back after 30 minutes, it's gonna flatten out a little bit, but it's still really gonna be holding that shape. If it's not holding its shape, you did not develop enough gluten, okay? Same thing with this one. I push, pull. And I'm not really doing anything with this one until I'm pulling. So push, pull, if that makes sense. Push, pull. And I'm kind of tucking underneath as I go. Okay, so I now have 2 beautiful balls. And I'm gonna let them sit for about 30 minutes. So I'm back. We have our 2 loaves of bread. We are now going to put them, final shape them, put them into bannetons. We're gonna add inclusions to 1, and then we're gonna put them in the fridge. So I'm just gonna find bowls, could be Tupperware, depends on what I find, and some rags. Okay, colander, bowl, towels. I'm gonna put a towel in there. We're gonna shape our dough. So I'm gonna take it, lift it up, flip it over. The goal here is to build surface tension. There are a lot of different ways that you can shape bread, okay? I just take one side, pull it over, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. The other side, pull it over, like that. Then I turn it and I just roll it. Beautiful. You can kind of push it and pull gently under to kind of build some more of that surface tension, but you don't really have to. I'm gonna take my dough, plop. Nope, I'm not putting any flour in it. Boom, she's good. Now this one, we're adding things to. I'm gonna start the same, flip it over, but because I'm going to be adding stuff on the inside and I want it evenly spread out throughout the whole dough, I'm gonna pull out my dough a little bit. I call this laminating it. Okay. I like to kind of wiggle it because it stretches the gluten in a not so harsh way. I just want enough surface area that when I'm putting my stuff in and I kind of roll it up, I get an even distribution throughout my dough. Take my toffee bits, white chocolate chips, if you've never tried a white chocolate toffee loaf, it is the best thing that you'll ever eat in your life. Now I'm gonna kind of roll it like a cinnamon roll. So I'm gonna take this edge, flip it over, and I'm just gonna roll it like that. I'm gonna flip it over, add a little bit more. See how it just kind of sticks to itself? Keeps itself nice and rolled up. Some more chocolate chips. And now we're gonna take our end just like last time and just roll it up. Create some surface tension. Again, bowl. I'm gonna put my towel in it. I promise this towel is clean. It is just old. Take it. Flip her in there. Boom. I'm gonna put both of these in the fridge. In the morning, I will then preheat my Dutch ovens and cook it. So I will see you back in the morning. Good morning. It is about 5 in the morning, it is 5 in the morning, which is altogether too early to be awake. But I do still have to work today and we need to make some bread. So we are going to flip out these loaves. We are going to score them. We are going to bake them and they're going to be beautiful. So to score them, I am going to use just a little razor knife. You can also just use a normal knife. My normal knives are very dull. So if you do use just like a kitchen knife, I recommend sharpening it before you do, just to make it easier. This was our original loaf, and that's what it looks like. That colander kind of left a cool design on it. So notice when I flip it out, it's not falling flat. It's still holding the shape of this colander that we put it in. I tend to go in twice. I'll go in once and I'll go in again kind of under that edge. I also did not say, I set a delayed start on my oven, so it has been on since 4 this morning with the Dutch ovens inside. So they are hot, they are ready to go. It's little tabs and put it in our Dutch oven. We're going to just score. Go back in again, kind of underneath. It has been 25 minutes. We are going to pull our Dutch ovens out. I'm going to put them here so you can see me take the lid off, and I'll kind of show you what they look like right now. Always take your lids off carefully because there's a lot of steam. Original loaf. Pretty good, I'd say. We're going to put it back in the oven without the lid for 15 minutes to kind of brown the top. Delicious. Let's pull our bread out of the oven. We have successfully made a loaf of bread. Beautiful. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope my explanations help you understand a little bit what you should be looking for when you're making your loaves. And remember, you've got this. I believe in you. Go make some bread.